Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to dive deep into DaVinci Resolve Editing Page. Whether you're brand new to video editing or you're just started with DaVinci Resolve, you're in the right place. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how to get started with editing your first video, covering everything from importing your media to exporting your final project. So let's open DaVinci Resolve and get started. The first thing we need to do is to create our project. When you open DaVinci Resolve, you'll be greeted by the Project Manager window. This is where you can create and organize your project. To start a new project, click on New Project, then give your project a name. Once you have named your new project, click on Create, and that's going to open up your new project. When you first open up a new project in DaVinci Resolve, it will open up in the Cut page. But today it's all about the Edit page. To go to the Edit page, scroll down to the bottom of the screen and click on the Edit page icon. We are now on the Edit page. The Edit page in DaVinci Resolve is the main workspace for video editing. In the top left hand corner, you'll find your media pool. This is where all your imported videos, images, and audios are stored. To import your media files, right-click inside the media pool and select Import Media. This will open up a window. Navigate to the folder where you have your videos, audios, and image. Select all the files you need and hit Open. In DaVinci Resolve, when the timeline settings are different from the imported clips, you'll typically see a pop-up message. This message will ask if you'd like to adjust the timeline settings to match the settings of the imported clips. I'll click on Change. So now the timeline settings will adjust to match the imported clips. Now the media files will appear in the media pool, ready to be used in your project. Now that we have imported our media, let's quickly walk through the layout of the edit page. This is where all the edit happens, and you'll see several panels. On the left we have the media pool. This is where all your clips are located. Next to the media pool, you'll find the effects library. This is where you'll find your transitions, titles, generators, and filters. You can drag and drop them onto a clip in the timeline to apply them. Next, you have the source viewer. The source viewer lets you view clips that are in the media pool, and you can set in and out points before adding them to the timeline. Next, you've got the timeline viewer. This lets you preview clips that you're working on in the timeline. And in the top right hand corner, you'll find the inspector. This is where you can fine-tune settings for your clip. You can change its position, rotation, and scale. You can also adjust audio levels. Also allows you to animate your clips by using the keyframe button. At the bottom, you've got the timeline. This is where you arrange and edit clips, audios, effects, and transition to create your final sequence. It consists of video and the audio track with a playhead showing your current position. Above the timeline, you've got the toolbar. The toolbar contains different tools for different editing functions. This interface might look overwhelming at first, but don't worry, I'll guide you through it step by step. At the end of this tutorial, you'll have a better understanding of how the edit page works. Let's add our first clip to the timeline. To do this, go to the media pool and select the clip that you want to work on. Double click on it and this will open it up in the source viewer. You can use the play controls at the bottom of the source viewer to preview the clip, or you can scrub through the clip by dragging the playhead. You can set in and out points to define where the clip starts or where the clip ends. Move the playhead to where you want the clip to start and press the letter I on your keyboard. This will set a starting point. Now move the playhead to where you want the clip to end and press the letter O on your keyboard, and this will create an end point. Once you have selected the in and out points, drag the clip from the source viewer to the timeline. This clip has audio. I don't need the audio, so I'm just going to delete the audio. You can also drag the clip straight from the media pool into the timeline. Now let's start editing, but before we do that, let me give you a quick guide on how to use the tools in the toolbar. This is the selection tool. It is the default tool for moving clips around in the timeline. This is the trim edit mode. It allows you to trim clips by adjusting their edges. This is the blade tool. It allows you to split clips at the position of the playhead. These tools are essential for effectively editing in DaVinci Resolve, and mastering them will help you to streamline your workflow. Now let's start editing. Move the playhead. This is a vertical line that moves across the timeline by clicking and dragging it. If you want to cut your clip, position the playhead where you want the cut to be made. Then select the razor tool in the toolbar. Click on where you want the cut to be made. This will split the clip into two parts. To delete a section of your clip, select it and hit Shift Delete. That will delete the clip and close any gap. Don't worry if you made any mistakes. You can always undo it by pressing Command Z. Now let's add a smooth transition between our clips. Click on the effects library in the top left hand corner. Under video transition, you'll see a bunch of different options. I recommend starting with a simple cross dissolve. Drag the cross dissolve between the two clips in the timeline. You'll notice the transition appears as a small square between the two clips. You can change how long the transition lasts by clicking and dragging the edge of the transition in the timeline. Shorter transitions are quicker, while longer transitions create a more gradual blend between clips. Let's move on to audio. Alright, so go back to the media pool, look for your audio clip, click on it and just drag it to the timeline below the video clip. It's a bit long, so I don't need all of this, so I'm just going to cut it just to match the video clip. If you click on the audio clip in the timeline, in the inspector you'll see an option for volume. Adjust the volume slider to increase or decrease the audio levels. If you want to add audio fade to the start or end of your clip, hover your cursor over the beginning or over the end of the clip and you'll see some handles. Click and drag on the handles and this will create a fading effect. Do the same thing at the end of the clip and this will create a fade out effect. Now let's add a title to our video. Go to the effects library under title, drag a basic text title onto the timeline above your clip. Once you have added the title, click on it in the timeline and you'll see a bunch of options in the inspector. Here you can change the text, the font, the size, even the position of the title. You can also adjust the duration of the title by dragging the edges in the timeline. If you want to make your title a little bit fancier, you can use the keyframe button in the inspector to add animation to your title. I am going to show you how to create a simple animation. In the inspector, look for position. So just click on the position and just drag the title off screen. Go back to the position, now you're going to click on the keyframe icon. Now you're going to move the play head a few frames to where you want the title to appear on screen. So now go back to inspector, go back to position and just drag the text back on screen. Now press play to see what you have done so far. That's it. That's how you create a simple animation. Now let's add some effects to our video clip. In the effects library, scroll down until you see open effects. You'll find a bunch of different effects like Gaussian blur, glow, and a lot more. For example, I'll drag the Gaussian blur onto the clip on the timeline to make it look softer. In the inspector, you'll see settings for the effect that you have applied. For example, the Gaussian blur, you can control how strong the blur is. Play around with these settings to see how they affect your clips. Once you're happy with your edit, it's time to export your video. Click on the Delivery tab at the bottom of the screen to go to the export page. First thing you need to do is give the file a name. Next, you choose the location where you want it to be saved on your computer. Next, for the format, choose MP4. Once you have set everything, click on Add to Render Queue. Then click on Start Render. And DaVinci Resolve will begin exporting your video. It may take a few minutes depending on the size of your project, but once it's done, you have your final video ready to use. Now that's it, you have completed your first video edit in DaVinci Resolve. From importing media to editing your clips, adding transitions and effects, adjusting audio, and exporting your final project. You have done it all. If you have found this tutorial helpful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe and click the bell icon for more tutorials. And if you have any questions or need any help, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to assist. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.